This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, good evening. I'm audible. Neha, Padmashri, Sarvana.
Yes, sir.
So, along with your exam, how is your practical? How many of you practiced for the GST SAP? Neha, Padmashri, Sarvana. Have you gone through that? Okay, so we'll revise some of the concept what I've finished in the last class, like GST implementation. And that, so the first step, we have to define condition types like Q100, the debit data, right? Q101, next Q102, this for input, CGST input, IGST input, SGST, and one more thing we have done, W100 for output, CGST 101, then W102 output, CGST output, SGST output, IGST. This is the first step, and the second step we have to check and change the setup for tax process. So using base amount, and in the third step we have to define the procedure, tax procedure, GSTIN, and control data. And in the fourth step we are going to assign company to calculation procedure. The fifth step, we have to define tax code for sale and purchases. Could you tell me in the chat box what did I use for input tax? The code I have used, right? That tax code. One is for T5, and T6 that I created only one, so T5. Then define tax GL accounts, like suggesting that input CGST, next input SGST, then input IGST. And in the seventh step, we defined vendor reconciliation account, GL account. Eighth step, we define purchase GL. Then finally, we posted vendor invoices. So these are the steps. Anything is missing in this? Could you tell me what is the menu path for this? If I wanted to configure the step number 1, what is the menu path that I've used? IMG, implementation guide, then financial accounting, new, then financial accounting, global settings, then tax on sales and purchases, then basic settings, there is an option for us. Check calculation procedure. In that, we have defined condition tools. Condition types. By clicking new entries, you have to create Q100, Q102, 101, then W100. So this is the parameter. So we'll see that. SPRO, SAP reference AMG, financial accounting new, financial accounting global settings, tax on purchases and sales, basic settings. Then we have a check calculation procedure on this, where we could able to find out that define condition types. Double click on this. Then by clicking this new entry, you have to create, which it's already been created. So Q100, just you press enter key and see what I've done here. So MWST, the tax calculation, and here the T, which refers the taxes condition class, and last one is condition type. Calculation type is percentage. So by making use of this three parameter, we have to create this condition type. So Q100, Q101. So this is for 100 for input SGST, and similarly we have input CGST. Double click and say this. The same parameters are attributes which has been configured in this same area. And again, double click for IGST and see this MWST taxes and percentages. So, and again go for W100 for output CGST, output FGST. So taxes, percentages, and tax classification. So again come back. So one by one, you have to create and you have to save. So this is the first step for the tax procedure. There. Next, second step, this one. We have to change the setup for the tax procedure. Processing, the menu path is IMG. Financial accounting global settings. Then tax on sales and purchases. Then basic settings. Next to that option is called check and change settings for tax processing. Then you save the new entries. Then from here onwards, the configuration will be this. What is that? The name that I created Q10, Q11, then Q12. So like this, and also for the output W10, W11, and W12. Okay. So we'll see that configuration change settings for come back here, press escape, settings. This is the same menu bar. So check and change settings for the tax processing. Get the position, but just I'm showing that it's been created. But if not created, you have to follow the same procedure and you have to create by clicking the new entries. So taking that Q110, so input CGST, then 2, which means input tax. By clicking this pop-up button, you can classify is that input tax or output tax. So number 1, number 2 like this. So number 2 which refers that for input tax, and again posting indicators is 2. It means that should applicable for a separate line item. Okay. So whenever we posting the document transactions, then it should applicable in separate line. So that's why we the posting indicators made that as a 2. 2 it's applicable for separate line item in this case. Whenever you create a new things, so the attributes supposed to be selected from this pop-up list. Okay. So already I've copied it since for the steps. So just to go through that, and again take the new entries again. So Q11, so same properties, then Q12, so this for input tax. But for output tax, W10, W11, so then here that will change. Instead of 2, we have to select 1 output tax. Now let's see. Go for position, type 1 W10 and say this. See 1, 2. 1 means output tax, it's in separate line item. And again you come back for output CGST 1, then 2, then output IGST 1, so press yes. So once it's done, then you click save. So the second configuration area. I hope is that clear. Then next you go for the third step. So here one is input tax, here is output tax. 1, this would be 2. Then separate line item. That is to be separate item. Next, what about the third? We have to define the procedure for the GST. IMG. Then financial accounting new. then financial accounting global settings, then tax on sales purchases, then basic settings, then here we have check calculation procedure, then finally we have to define the procedure for countries by clicking new entries. Then we have to procedure, there is a description, this description column we have to define GSTIN, then name that tax procedure for India, and we have to save. So this is the third step. Now let's see calculation procedure. That is that. Check calculation procedure. Define procedure. Yeah. But I'm not defining now by clicking the new entry. So we will search for the GSTIN. So it's there. Okay. So this one you have to click. So there's the two options. Two column you have. One is procedure and one is description. So whatever I've listed that, type the GSTIN, then GST for India. Then you have to click save. Then afterwards you have to enter the control data. So I'll be cancelling this. Take this GSTIN and double click on control data, and without any mistakes. So this one you have to be updated. So number 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, the line items to be configured. So 10, which refers that for base value, then Q100, Q101, 102, the W100. Okay, then from base value is supposed to be configured. So input CGST base value, then input IGST base value on base value, and the output SGST output CGST, everything is to be calculated on base value. Okay, so that's why I've taken that references back here. And see this one more we have here, account key ACC, then KUI. So account key which you have configured by creating that Q 10, 11, 12. So respective of this no, Q100 condition type. So account key also supposed to be specified. Then only it's not, it's going to be matching for all input and output category. So once it's done, then that control data will get configured. So do not forget to enter here control data. What is that control data in this? By clicking this new entry. step, then condition type, then from, then account key, it means account key. So step number 10, which means BASP, base value. So there is no value for this. Then next again 20, which I will be taking Q100. Then this will be a 10. Then Q110. Then 30, which means Q101. Whatever you have seen. So same thing I'm configuring here. Then here it is to be 40. Q102. Then same value. Then Q12. Then next it is to be 50. 50, what it says, W100. Again 100 means 10. Saying that W110. W10. Then 60. W101 from value base value 10. Then W111. Next in the 70th, W102 base value, then W, then finally save it. So here's the configuration. Once it's done, then we have to assign company to calculation procedure. That is for the fourth step. Menu path is what? IMG, financial accounting new, then financial accounting global settings, then again tax on sales and purchases, that goes to basic settings. So that assign country to calculation procedure. So enter country. Country is not India. And then type procedure name. Procedure name is GSTIN. So already whatever you have created, that name you type it, then save it. So this is for calculation procedure. Let's see this. So we have to assign country to calculation procedure. Go to position, asking country is India, press enter key. And here in this procedure column, we have an option for updating. So directly you can type the name or else click the proper font type and save. So that's it. This is the fifth step. So the fourth step is over. Then in the fifth step, we have to define the T code, T5. Right? IMG, financial accounting, new financial accounting, global settings, then again tax on sales, purchases, define tax codes for sales and purchases, then asking for country, India, then tax code, do not forget to enter T5. So T5, then you can create next one is T6 if you want, correct? Let's see. Okay, so what we have to do, tax on sales and purchases. Next, we have to define the tax code for sales and purchases. The calculations, we have this option, define tax code. Asking country, so it's already available. So what we have defined, and press enter key and see this is updated. By specifying all this parameter, we have to mention that percentage to be calculated. So press escape. Even you can put copy from that, from where to where you have to be copied. Okay. If you wanted to define new one, so take this T6, press enter key. Now this one is asking what is this output, tax, then here tax type, we want output, so A is supposed to be considered. Then press enter key and enter. What needs to be configured? 14%, then 14%. So not for the input tax, this for output tax. 14, then 14. Directly, this is to be 28%. So I'm not taking these two. So just to simply click save. So T6 is also created. So T5 input, then T6 output. Then you clear. So T5 input tax and T6. In this case, you can take any code also. Okay, 2 digits code, but I have taken the T5 and T6 and define output CGST. Next one more output is GST 14% and 14%. Then in this case, just to put CGST, then output is GST 14% and 14%. This is what we have done. So what next? Sixth step, we have to define the ledger. So what ledger in this case is this FS00. FS00 is a keyboard for creating tax ledger. But in this case, already we created input CGST, SGST, and CGST. Then we'll see creating for output CGST and SGST. Have it done or not? We'll verify. Press escape. Press escape. FS00. So here, making sure the day itself I have created input CGST. See the properties, asset, balance sheet, short text input SGST, then control data, line item display, sort key 001, then in this field status group G001. Then for CGST also same parameters are used, and for liabilities means output CGST, output SGST comes under liabilities because we are going to collect the tax and we have to pay to the government, so that's why we have to consider this as a liabilities. Okay, this is input CGST, input SGST. From at the time of purchase, whatever we paid, so it will come back from the government. So we consider that as a asset. Okay, so that is the main reason why I have taken into asset category, and this is to be in the liabilities category. Collect the tax and you have to pay to the government. So the tax GL account number I have taken 2,04,000 and 2,05,000 and double click and say this properties. GL account number 2,04,000, account group liabilities, balance sheet, output CGST, then sorry, output SGST, output SGST, control data, then line item display 001, then G004. And here also same parameters, it applies for other ledger. Is it clear? So making sure what is the last number which is currently using, and see to that mention specify that number and create other rest of the information and finally save it. Then what is the next step after defining this? We have to define vendor reconciliation. To implement customer For sales invoice, we have to take customer reconciliation ledger. Again, FS 00. Let's see. Okay, it's already there. Material vendor, service vendor, finance vendor, and also this side we created material customer. Whenever you create a ledger for customers, see this control data, and this control data reconciliation account for account type customer supposed to be selected from this list. And for vendors, so vendors, reconciliation account for account type vendor. When you create a ledger for reconciliation ledger for the customers, and the reconciliation account type customers to be selected. And again G0067, G067, which indicates reconciliation account for both of the ledgers, for vendors and as well as customers. Okay, so this is the main changes needs to be considered during the creation of the ledger, reconciliation ledger, which type of ledger which belongs to vendors and which type of ledger it belongs to customers. But that field status group is always G067. Clear? Any doubts? Next, what is the next step after this? What we have done today? We have to define purchase GL account. Again, FS 00. So in this case, I'll be taking say GL account. So that we created purchase of goods. Purchase comes under expenses, profit and loss account. Purchase of goods, control data, line item display, and 001, G001. But in the control data, tax category, all types of tax are allowed. Okay, and for sale of goods also same thing. Income, P&L account, sale of goods, then control data, tax category is allowed all types of tax, then line item display, then sort key 001, then create bank interest G001, and finally would save this GL account. So sale of goods. For the next step, we have to post invoice. So in this case, I'll be taking customer invoice. Then number, accounting, Sarvana, any problem? financial accounting, account receivable, document interview, then FB70. But if I put up FB60, what happened? Anybody? Do you tell me what is FB60? P code FB60, what that would indicate? That's for vendor invoice. This for customer invoice. FB60. Here we have. But make ensure have you been created for master data, material customers, material vendors. So it's already created. So take Muthoot Reliance is something. I'm taking Reliance's invoice date. Let it be the same date. Then amount I'll be taking 10,000. Then save that sale of goods rupees 10,000. Then scroll down, select this, press enter key, sale of goods. So this would be automatically debited. This will be the credit ledger. Then 10,000. Then here it's important area tax code. So select T6. Then next text plus mark business area 7676. Then go for calculate the tax and make it sure in the right hand side. So Reliance Pin Private Limited, France Limited. Is the details is updated as you click on calculate the tax. Then go for payment tax. Then business area 7676. Then go to document. Then opt for simulate general ledger. So this output tax. 01 is customer invoice. Automatically it has been debited. And this is overall 10,000. In that 10,000, 1,000, that 1,096, 93.75 is calculated as a output CGST and SGST, and sale of goods 7,812.50. This is the overall calculations for say customer invoice. So that day in the last class of the GST tax on sales and purchases, we have done T5 and T6 today I have shown you that T6. So last class I have shown you for T5. So you ask me if you have any doubts up to this. This is all about SAP tax on purchases and sales. I'll give you 2 minutes time. So just to come back with your doubts. So till whatever I've completed now. So T5, T6 means input tax, output tax on purchases and sales. So let's have a break for 5 minutes. Okay, so next we'll start financial statement portion. So I hope up to here you don't have any doubts. So financial statement version is defined to create a balance sheet and profit and loss account. Is also called as short form FSV, financial statement version. So defined to get the financial statement in required manner as well as legal requirements, and we can have multiple FSV as required. So the prerequisites for the financial statement version is chart of account and list of GL accounts. Taking here financial statement version in short form FSV. I would like to talk about an overview. So financial statement version is defined to create balance sheets and profit and loss account statements. Next, financial statement version defined to get the financial statement in the required manner as per the legal requirement. Requirements. We can have multiple FSV, financial statement version as required. But what is the prerequisite for this? So number one, chart of account and GL. Pre-requirements. Number one, chart of accounts. Then number two, list of general ledgers. So the menu path can open. Let's just click cancel. Start from SPL to SAP reference financial accounting new, general ledger accounting new, periodic processing. Select periodic processing. There you have a document. Click on this document. Then here an option called as define financial statement version. So this is the menu part. Or else we can use FBT8 directly press enter key from the SAP Easy Access. Then to OB58 press enter key. It's creating financial statement version menu part. So this is the option. From here onwards, you have to start by clicking this option. New entries, financial statement version. By clicking on that, we have to enter what is a chart of account name and financial statement version. Then what is the items keys supposed to be selected, and what are the items, create items to be selected, like balance sheet, income statements. Okay, and in that we have to take asset, liabilities, so on so on. We have to assign subordinate level. Okay, and we have to assign liabilities also, the number ranges what we have taken. So based on that we have to work. So this is the simple menu part, and here you have to enter 7676 and name this as FSV for 7676 and maintain language. So make ensure is that English, chart of account 7676, and select this item keys auto, press enter, and financial statement items. So here you have to click saying that sales. From here onwards, as I said, we have to create an items like balance sheet, income statements, so on so on. So by clicking this option, here you have to specify what is required, what is not. Okay, that we will see in the next class. So once if I finish, then your financial statement will get over, and we'll try to conduct the exams. So on. Is it clear? So up to this much, you try to remember this. If you want, next class also I'll revise this. What is financial statement version, and what is a menu path, what is a T code, and how to take this, create items list. Then from here onwards, what has to be done? With that I will show you. Okay, so little bit configuration, complicated means complex steps are there. So that you have to understand by practically. So that we will conduct by next class. So you ask me if you have any doubts. So tomorrow if I finish, then they will announce you that exam. So when we will be going to be conducting, so on. Is it clear? Okay. So see you all. So meet you at the next class.